Revenge films.
I used to work for a very abusive company. I had a coworker named Jill. She was a hard worker but wasn't liked at work because she was crying in the office after she made a mistake. But that never made any sense to me. I asked our boss about it, and she said,
She was crying in her office. That's so weak.
But later on, I found out the truth. They would bully her by telling everyone else about a new job but give Jill the wrong information. And when she would make a mistake, they would get mad at her.
I told you to do it like this, didn't I? That's not what I heard. Yeah, we told you. Why didn't you ever listen? Are you trying to blame this on us? What a terrible thing to do.
They would attack her like that. Our boss was especially a mean woman. She would attack anything Jill did.
Oh my god, I can't believe you did that.
She would denounce Jill in front of everybody.
Seriously?
You could hear the others mocking her. There was another idiot who was one of their minions who would jump in from time to time.
Yeah, Jill, how could you?
Wait, what?
Why would you say that, Brad? You should apologize to Jill.
What? Why? Sorry, Jill. Brad just sucks at teaching. No, it's Jill's fault! You're a jerk, Brad. You're trying to use Jill as a scapegoat!
They would use Brad to diss Jill like that, and the boss would follow.
Jill, make sure you learn how to do your job, alright? Use your head for once. Look at Brad, he's so angry.
And everyone would laugh. Brad had no clue that he was being made fun of too, and would act like he was part of the joke.
Yeah, you heard her. I'm pissed.
I was still new at work, but I knew this was wrong. I found some other people and tried to talk to them about it. What do you guys think of that? But all they told me was, well, we don't want to be the target, you know? It was shocking to hear them say that. I didn't participate in the bullying. Instead, I secretly recorded what was happening. One day, one of the bullies noticed and called me in. They told me to get rid of the footage, or else.
If you won't delete all of it, we're gonna bully you until you're forced to quit.
And I had no choice but to delete it all. Oh, but don't worry. Of course, it was all backed up, but they didn't know that. After they saw that I had deleted everything, they said,
You better not do anything like this ever again.
And ran away. As expected, they started giving me a hard time, but I had decided to ignore it all, and they got bored soon enough. But anyway, also, some of them were scared after they heard that I was recording them, and it seemed like the bullying against Jill started to calm down a bit as well. But Brad, he hadn't changed. One day, when I was carrying some boxes with Jill, Brad came up from behind her and pushed her over. Oops! I dropped my boxes to save Jill and fell down the stairs. I somehow managed to catch myself and avoided getting hurt. Jill was fine, but she was shaken and couldn't move. The boxes spilled over. They had papers and products that our bosses were to use in a meeting that day. Some of the products were broken, and the papers were bent and torn. Brad came over and said,
Oh no, look what you've done! You messed all the papers up! What's the boss gonna do with the client now?
and mocked us. But thankfully, the president from the main headquarters was there that day to participate in the meeting.
Ah!
And he was walking down the stairs that I fell from. He had with him an important client from a big corporation. Brad started making excuses and blaming Jill.
It's your fault for slipping and falling over! It's your fault!
He repeated over and over and over again. But the president pressed hard, and he wasn't able to lie his way out. Brad fainted from the pressure, and an ambulance was called. It was kind of a big deal. The president came to me and said, You fell down the stairs too. I'll pay for your cab. So go get checked at the hospital. Just bring back a doctor's note and you'll be fine. So I visited the hospital as well. I didn't feel much pain, but the doctor wrote me a form that said I had bruises on my arms and legs. Before returning to the office, I went home and retrieved the backed up videos that I had saved on my laptop and picked up my resignation letter that I had prepared beforehand and filled in the date. I caught the president in time to hand him the evidence and asked him to check it out. To which he replied, I'll take a look once I'm back in my office. I'll hold on to your letter, but I'm not accepting it quite yet. And he went back to headquarters. Jill didn't show up the next day. I heard she was on sick leave. Brad was fired right away by the president. and he promised to pay for my hospital bills and compensation in exchange for me not reporting to the police. The bully boss and her team of 15 finally got justice served to them. After a board meeting, they were all split into different divisions, and their salaries were reduced. Some were moved to branches, and some were moved from office work to busier out of the office work. About half quit because they didn't want to change their positions. The mean boss was moved to a branch quite far away, but ended up quitting beforehand. I heard the boss lady has 2 children and was upset about the move, and argued that it was unfair. But after being shown the footage that I had presented, she had no choice but to accept. So she was pretty much forced out. As expected, she quit shortly after. I felt like she should have been fired. But I guess unless it was something like Brad, it's not that easy to fire your employers without risking being sued. So the next best thing is to change their divisions or branches and have them quit. And about my resignation, the president told me, "I still want you to work for us." But some of the bullies were still left, and I was looking for a reset. So I decided to quit anyways. I was lucky that the president wrote me a letter of recommendation, and the client he was with that day ended up hiring me. It was a smooth transition to a new environment. Jill was diagnosed with work-related mental damage and was able to receive full compensation for her clinical bills and mental suffering. Jill ended up quitting after that as well, and was paid a large amount as a retirement bonus. 3 years have passed. I ended up running into Jill again, and now we're married. At first, when I saw her, she had changed so much I could barely recognize her. It ends up, she had clinical depression and eating disorders for 2 years after that incident.
I threw up so much that my teeth melted, so I got implants with my retirement bonus. At least my teeth look nice now.
She laughed about it, but I felt bad about not saving her earlier. I told her I wished I had noticed earlier, and she said,
It was thanks to you that I noticed that I was depressed. All I have is gratitude for you.
We started seeing each other after that and began dating. And we got married shortly after. My wife still flashes back to those days and gets depressed, but she's gaining back her weight and she's getting her sense of humor back. We have a daughter now, and my wife still looks back on those days.
Yeah, those were tough times.
Abusive times.
But maybe it was all for the better. I was able to meet a wonderful man
She's talking about me.
and have a beautiful child. I couldn't have asked for more.
She seems happy now, but you deserve more. You deserve to be even happier, I remind her. She cries when I say that and says,
Thank you, Jack.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.